Connor, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Awesome. Glad you're down here in the wonderful, cool beaches of Panama City Beach last weekend.
Yeah, we had some nice days. I got a little bit of color. A whole lot more needed. But, you guys did your part. I'm high on vitamin D right now, so that's great. So what's going on?
That's awesome. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to go right to the question, or I'm going to get context in the question, a little bit of background for what I've done so far. So I work in a high-level military organization as a federal contractor now.
Okay.
I've been in this organization for about 7 years, 3.5 in my current capacity as a contractor and 3.5 in uniform. I'm part-time military as well. But I've been passed up for promotional opportunities and additional responsibilities, both due to my age in relation to the guys around me and my current parental arrangements outside of the workplace, which I can get more on that later if I need to. Also, I've not received a compensation increase from my contract company in the last 3 years, which I have brought up with him as well.
Okay,
so my question, though, is...
All right, go ahead. Go ahead with the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my question is, how do I remain, with my dignity intact in an organization where I feel devalued and micromanaged while searching for my next career path?
Well, you don't remain. I mean, there's something going on here. And we do want to try to the best of our ability, get as much clarity as possible so that we can learn something. But you're just not going to be able to remain much longer. So you remain as long as it takes to replace your job, because it just feels like there's a pretty darn good lid on you. Am I right?
Yeah, I feel the glass ceiling, and I felt it for a while, but it's became increasingly known as my boss gets closer to retirement. He's retiring at the end of May, and I expressed my interest in his position to multiple people in the organization over the last 6 months, and they've all asked my age directly in questions, which I'm 26, so I'm much younger than the 62-year-old guy I'm replacing. Yeah. And it's a federal organization, so we get that side. But I do have a little bit of context as kind of what I've done so far going forward, because you're absolutely right on just staying here and being patient. But I took the Get Clear assessment about a year ago, which I'd be happy to share my purpose statement if you need me to. It's been an awesome help in my transition. I've also been using proximity principle to get connections within multiple companies that are helping, and I have individuals in there that are helping navigate and represent me through their hiring process. So my next career move is definitely in the steps, definitely in the works. There's been no offer yet, and a couple of those companies are just phenomenal.
Okay. Well, so are you getting – so – they've told you specifically that you're too young, and also your parenting situation with your kids is also a limitation. They're telling you that specifically?
They're dancing around the bush with that. Like, they're not telling me directly, but they have had discussions directly that they've admitted to limiting me based upon, me having to take off here and there for child care issues, me being sick, my daughter being sick. Which I did I'm very open and transparent guy. I've known these guys for 7 years. I thought I could be trustworthy with them, but it seems like they're using some of what I'm telling them going on in my personal life against me now.
Well, let me ask you this. Is their concern viable?
It is to an extent, but the problem they have is the child's not mine genetically. I took on the dad role. But their concern is they don't see it the same way as me having responsibility of a child like it would be if I were actually legally her parent, which I do have paperwork that does kind of legally put responsibility for me over the child when I'm under her care or she's under my care. So that is one thing.
Okay. Are you divorced, married? What's your situation?
Not really divorced or married. It was actually ex-fiance of mine who we split up. She got pregnant, went up to Georgia. The guy took off 4 months into pregnancy. She came back down here. I figured out about it myself, but I come from a single-parent background, raised by my dad from a very young age by myself. So I know what kind of strain that puts on a kid. And I knew that if anything I controlled about it, anything I could do to help take care of the child, then I would do it.
So do you have – all right, so hold on one second. So this child is not yours. Mm-hmm. You are acting as a guardian for your ex-fiance.
Correct, her child, yes.
Do you have legal guardianship?
Not legal guardianship, but I do have in loco parentis because they're going through a whole case in the state of Georgia and Florida now for child support and everything with the father. So I don't want to get in the middle of that. Right now I'm just trying to work through just taking care of the child.
How often do you have the child?
Every day, just about. So I drop her off at daycare, and then I have her every other weekend.
Whoa. Where's the mom?
She's around. She still lives locally. We just She lives in Panama City Beach. I live on the other side of town.
Yeah, but you have the child every day.
Dropping off at daycare in the morning, I do. Not every single day. Like, she gets in the afternoons and the evenings, and I get her every other weekend, and then on Thursdays, and whenever I would like to see her, kind of thing.
Yeah, this is, Connor, this is a bit of a mess. But you're a really good dude. So let me say, your heart is absolute platinum. And now you're invested with this child. But I will tell you that your professional limitations because of the child, you've got to fix that. This is not your child.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm just going to hone in on this very quickly and I'll move on. But to the extent that you caring for this child is hurting your ability to be promoted, that's not good. That's not a good, you're not more honorable. That's not smart. Can you have some involvement in the child's life? Sure. I don't begrudge what you're doing, but it's not your child. So you're either all in on this with the goal to adopt this child, which is just, honestly, this is so messy. And I feel like in some ways, tell me if I'm wrong, but that your ex-fiance is manipulating you and taking advantage of you. Do you agree or disagree with that?
It does feel that way at times. If it weren't for me being the one to make the decision to take on the parent role, I would say that it would be, but it's kind of mutually done at this point.
Yeah, but no, it's mutually. You've both agreed to she's manipulating you, and you've agreed to be manipulated. And I'm telling you that I'm only bringing this up, and I do not want to sound tough. I
appreciate it.
But brother, if you were my younger brother, I'd be like, dude, you need some boundaries. In fact, I'm going to give you a copy of my good friend Henry Cloud's book, Boundaries. Guys, I know we got a copy here somewhere. Let's do it. It's my gift. You need to read this and do this because here's the deal. You admitted that your professional limitations are in part because of your responsibilities to a kid that's not yours. Not only is the kid not yours, the kid belongs to a woman who you broke up with. She goes to another state. She comes back because she knows you're dependable and you're a good guy. And there's some attachment there going on with her. Plus there's what you went through as a kid. And so all of a sudden you feel like I'm the person who needs to step in. And I'm telling you that that's all okay to a certain point. But the minute that you're professionally limited because of your responsibilities to watch someone else's child, we got ourselves a problem, and you need a boundary. So I'd fix that immediately. That is mama's responsibility. You can assist because you're already in the kid's life, but I would pull back on that to the point that starting today, whatever you do to assist this child and her mother is on the outside of any professional responsibilities that you have. Your job, your life, your future relationship, everything else comes first. Whatever time you have left at this season of your life to give to this mom and her child, gravy. You got me?
I got you. Thanks, Ken.
Dude, this is your life. It is. So I'll tell you one thing, all the books and the proximity principle and my book and the assessment in the world, none of that's going to work for you until you decide to take control of your life. And you are being manipulated, my friend, because you're such a good dude. And I'm trying to set you free. I'd also go back to your current leaders and go, hey, I'm fixing that situation. I'm no longer limited by that. I needed boundaries. Here's what I learned. This really loud guy on the radio lectured me, and I'm going to do what he said. So I'm resubmitting myself for promotion to say I'm no longer going to have limitations to take care of a child that's not mine. I don't know where the baby daddy is. I don't know where mama is, but that's their job, not yours.